So I came for a research seminar, a security researcher. I work on web security. So if there's like a big bridge, then all of a sudden 70%.
What do you do on the weekends? Do you like read books? Do you?
Ooh, that's a very good question.
Okay, so you just came. So long flight, right?
Indeed, 13 hours. Yeah.
13. Wow,
Yes.
that's a long time. So
Indeed.
can I ask you like your main purpose here in Japan?
Yeah, so I came for a research seminar.
Okay.
It looks like a shonan meeting, it's
Uh-huh.
called. So it's like maybe 100 kilometers south from Tokyo. So
Yeah.
I need to figure out how
Uh-huh.
to go there, like which train to take and so on. So this is like you probably know, it's like a resort where researchers from around the world
Uh-huh.
come for a few days,
Uh-huh.
and we have like a meeting on a specific topic.
Uh-huh. So can I ask you like what kind of topic are you gonna like discuss?
Yes, sure. So I'm a security researcher. I work on web security.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
So is the conference gonna be like? It's gonna be about web security. Right?
Indeed, yes. So it's basically a meeting
Uh-huh.
where more senior people in this community, in academic community,
Uh-huh.
will come and join this for a week.
Okay.
And we discuss what kind of topics, and at the end we prepare a document with, like what are the conclusions, what did we discuss, what would we, where's the community going. So there are people from all over the world. So from
Wow.
Europe, from US, from Japan as well. So
So is the conference gonna be today or like tomorrow?
it's starting today until Thursday, I think.
Okay, so pretty long time. So you're gonna like discuss for like a whole week, basically.
Indeed, yes.
Wow. So I guess so you're a researcher or like a professor back in your country?
Indeed, yes. I have my own research group. I work at
really?
a research institute, so it's I don't have to do a lot of teaching, so it's not a traditional professorship position, but equivalent to that.
Oh, okay. So is it like you meant by research group? So is it you work for a university?
Well, in Germany they have this system, so it's collocated on the same campus between
Okay.
universities, but it's basically a research institute. So this is a
Okay.
separate entity that is mostly meant for research purposes.
But-
I'm not sure if in Japan you have something similar.
Well, those people who maybe similar but not exact same. So
Okay.
So you don't do teaching, but you do the research.
I do a
but-
bit of teaching, but not so much.
Okay.
That's not.
So is it your first time coming to Japan?
Yes.
Oh, so you because of the conference, I guess.
Yes.
Okay. So like
Indeed.
you mentioned about web security. I mean, there's a lot of the IT trend is like it started like a long time ago, but a lot of things are being like digitalized all over the world, and I think the web security is getting more more pop. Not it was popular before, but it's getting a lot of companies and like countries are putting strength in it.
Yeah.
So can I like ask like what kind of is there like any kind of big difference between web security like beyond countries, like the
Oh, I
difference between Japan and like other countries? And
Well, that's a very, very good question. I don't know if I can answer this question. So what I can tell you is that you have very good researcher and very good people here in Japan that do
really?
fantastic research at the international scale. So there are definitely international topics that we will going to discuss in this week. But there might be country-specific topics as well here in Japan or in other parts of the world. I'm not very much aware of those, right? So every now and then we stumble. So whenever we analyze websites and so on, we stumbled upon some Japanese websites. Maybe we try to figure out if they have any vulnerability or something like this,
Okay.
and we have a hard time, processing the script, the language, right? Because we don't speak the language and so on. But I guess the people here do a good job complementing our work.
I think in like every country has their like the researchers of like web security, but I think basically I think no offense, but I think America has a better web security skill set than Japan. Why do you think there's that kind of difference? Is it because of the people, or is it because of the history, or is it about like
I think strategic investments. The U.S. universities just get a lot of money.
Okay.
And I think Europe is catching up. Japan, of course, as I said, for a relatively small country, I think it's doing a really good job. You have some really good universities, but traditionally, U.S. is by far the biggest source of good research ideas. And even now, like the seminar I'm going to, there's like people from Carnegie Mellon and MIT and Cornell and so on. So it's the top of the top from the US coming here in Japan. So I guess it's a great place to come and discuss these ideas.
Is it back in Germany? Do the government also like invest a lot in your area, in your subject?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay.
So this research center called CISPA Helmholtz Center for Cybersecurity. It's relatively new, so we are only like 7 years old or so. But we are really large for international standards, and this is kind of like a recent interest in Germany as well. But this is something that the government invests in the last 10 years, let's say. So our center is like approaching 600-700 people as far as I know with the latest head count I saw. So 40 or something like this faculty members, so more senior people that have their own research group and so on. So it's definitely a big interest.
Okay. Can I ask more about web security? So
if you want,
I think Japan has a unique kind of smartphone share. So Apple has like 70% of the share of devices. What do you think iPhone is safe in general?
I see. I guess so. To some extent, they put quite some effort early on in vetting all their ecosystem. They're having this closed ecosystem as opposed to Android, where there were like security problems at some point. But I think Android is catching up with that as well. But definitely, Apple did a good job early on. But obviously, because of that market share, they are also the main target for attackers, right? So if there's like a big breach, then all of a sudden 70% of your market is down. So I myself, I own an Android device. I just bought a SIM card here, and I think it's healthy to have a bit of fragmentation of the market and to have all kind of different players, smaller players, and it's not healthy to have like a big monopoly.
Oh, okay. So Apple is doing good, but since they're big, they get a lot of that.
Yeah, indeed. But I think they are like
still doing good. But as a professional, do you think they could do more, or do you think they're doing enough?
I think as a single company, they do good.
Okay.
Yes. I think we should, as I said, probably it's healthy to have different other alternatives in case, as redundancy.
True. Can I ask, like, what if there is? What do you think is the biggest problem with the iPhones within the web security? Is there any like biggest problems or like issues that you kind of think?
Well, all the iPhone stuff, like that's a device in the end, right? And there's like another branch of cybersecurity called mobile security that mostly deals with vetting apps and vetting mobile systems. And I'm not an expert on that, but I am an expert on JavaScript security, which is this popular language for web applications. And there's a lot of web apps nowadays, or mobile apps, sorry, that are written in JavaScript. And obviously that's something I care about, right? Because this is something that web developers write, and then you can use this mobile app on Android or on Mac and so on. So it's very portable, but of course it has its own security risks, right? So that's what I'm researching. So obviously I would say this is an important topic nowadays, but I may be biased.
No worries. Can I ask like a few more questions about your work environment back in your country?
Yeah.
So you're a researcher at this institute. I think you're like the smartest people back in your country.
Well, that's very flattering. I don't know. I'm also quite junior, right? So I finished my PhD 4 years ago. So I'm kind of like on the junior side. But yes, I would say that our institute is very well renowned in cybersecurity. So it's definitely a strict selection process, let's say.
So you're working at this research institute, and so you basically do research, right? Like collect information, do some analytics. Like I think you have a busy job. Do you work 24 hours?
No, I would not say so. I think the European work culture is decent. So I don't work on weekends or on legal holidays or something. So in academia and research, you're always on somehow, but overall it's it's up to you how much you want to work. So I would not say it's 24/7.
We interview a lot of people back from Germany,
Okay.
like today, like in the past, and they say it's
Because maybe the plane just landed, right?
exactly. And they said that you could like take 30 days a year. Is it the same for you?
That's the same.
Also, it doesn't really depends on the company or institute. In general, you could. Okay.
Yeah,
Great.
that's kind of standard.
So like what like I think since you're like a researcher, I think your life is about web security. I mean you love it. So I think
But but ideally you want to have other things in life as well. So
True.
it's just not only research, right?
Uh-huh.
But yes, that's an important part of my life.
so I think like I'm kind of curious what do you do on the weekends? Do you like read books? Do you
Ooh, that's a very good question. I have 2 kids, very small kids, so it keeps me busy all day, all weekends. Just running after them and playing with them and taking care of them. So that's the challenging part, I guess, to combine the two.
Mm-hmm.
So to have an active family life and prestigious research results. That's fun.
Well, work-life balance, right?
Indeed, yes.
So can I ask is there any kind of stereotypes towards like researchers or like professors in back in your countries? Let's say there's a stereotype in Japan that let's say teachers are like kind of are strict. Like there are kind of sayings, right? Is there any kind of basic stereotypes towards professors or like researchers back in your country?
I assume by my country you mean Germany, because I'm more or less adopted there, right? But what I can say is that in Germany, these academic positions have a very high prestige. So people look very much up to you for having a doctor title or doing research work.
Okay.
But other than this, I think we are not excessively strict, but I think particularly our institute is quite, the students know that if they come and work with us, we expect good research results and we expect excellence, right?
I think research. What's hard about research is that there's no correct answers, right?
Well, ideally, we have a process that will show that correct answer, or that we produce this evidence and these new results, right? So ideally is how to apply the scientific method to get there, right? But I think there is a correct answer in the end.
Okay. So
it's hard to plan. I think that's the difficult part, right? It's very hard to go ahead and say, okay, now here's the research idea, here's the plan for doing research, right? Because very often, like in the startups ecosystem is the same. You need to very often pivot, right? You start with an idea, you hit a wall, then you say, okay, maybe we'll do something else because this didn't work, the original plan. So it's a lot of uncertainty.
Mm-hmm. So I think it's one of the hard parts is that, and it's also, is it hard to get budget for your research project?
As I said, you should really look up our institute. We are yes, we are well funded and we have this long-term support by the state.
Can I ask you one last question? Can I ask you the biggest budget you got for one project?
Well, I don't think I'm allowed to share numbers, but let's say it can support a couple of PhD students with no problem for long term.
Long term, like 3 or 4 years?
4 years, 5, yes, something like that.
Great. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.